Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much guys for coming back. I'm going to be showing us how to make this keyhole dress. It's a Basque dress actually with the gather at the lower part. So this is what we're going to be making today. I'll be making use of 2 yards of crepe fabric. I'll be using a pattern paper for the half length. So my pattern paper is folded into 2. This line here is my starting point. The full length of the dress is 40 inches. So we have to resection the half length, the middle part, that's the skirt part of it, and the gather part. I'll be using 17.5 for the half length. If you minus 17.5 from 40 inches, you'll be left with 22.5 inches. I will use 12 inches for the middle part and use 10.5 inches for the lower part, that's the ruffles. So go ahead and place the measurement. So I'll mark the half length, 17.5 inches. So I'll be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. I'll use half inch to join it at the shoulder and use half inch to join it to the middle part. So I will mark 18.5 inches. The shoulder I'm working with is 14 inches, divided by 2 is 7 inches. I'm using a stretchy fabric. I don't think I'll be adding allowance to this dress. So right from these 7 inches, I will go down by 1 inch. 1 inch is my shoulder slope. I will connect the 1 inch like so. To get her armhole measurement, I will divide her bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So the one I'm working with is 8 inches. So right from the shoulder slope here, I will mark 8 inches. I marked 7 inches for the shoulder. I will go to the chest line here, mark 7 inches. I will make a line here. I'll mark 3 inches for the neck width. So I'll mark 1.5 inches for the back depth and 3 inches for the front depth. I will connect the back neckline and connect the front. I will place a quarter of the bust measurement right on the chest line here. The bust measurement is 41 inches, divided by 4 is 10.25. I will extend the line. So we go to the armhole. Look for the midpoint of the armhole. I will come inside by 3/4 of an inch. That's the front armhole. So I will connect the back. This one here is the back armhole. And this is the front armhole. This is the back armhole and this is the front. I will place a quarter of our waist measurement here. Our waist measurement is 33 inches, divided by 4 is 8.25. I'm not adding that to the dress. I will connect it from the chest to the waistline. Before we add the keyhole to it, I will use this to cut out the back part first. I will lay the fabric on the table and they transfer the pattern to the fabric before cutting out the keyhole part. I will spread the fabric on the table. I will fold the fabric into 2. So I'm adding 1 inch for zipper allowance for the back side. Go ahead and cut it out. The fabric I'm making use of is stretchy, and I use the less stretchy part for the length. I will just add 1 inch here for sewing allowance. Go to the side here, go inside by 1/2 inch. This is to eliminate zip bulge. I will connect the 1/2 inch like so. This is the waistline. We still go up by 1 inch. These areas are very, very important. I will connect it like so. So this is the back side. I will set this aside. We'll go ahead and work on the front side. I will cut out this to 1/4 inch. It's right from the shoulder here. I will go down by 4.5 inches. I will just make a line here. From these 4 inches, I will go inside by 3 inches. I don't want the keyhole to be too wide. Right on these 4 inches, I will come down by 1 inch. You can come down more than that. Like I said earlier, I don't want this one to be too exposed. I will curve it like this, like a sweetheart neckline. I went down by 1 inch. So right from the neckline here, this is the front neckline. Let me cut out the front neckline. I will go down by 2 inches right from the front neckline. So I will make it like so. See how I connect it. So from the neckline, I've cut out the 3 inches neckline I marked out earlier. So from these 3 inches, I went down by 2 inches. Remember, I went inside by 3 inches. You can go inside by 2 inches. It depends on what you want. I don't want this side to be too exposed. So from here, I will connect this like so, 2 inches. And I went down by 1 inch here. So this will form the sweetheart neckline. This is the sweetheart neckline. And this is the upper part. So I will just cut this side out because I'll be joining it here. I'll cut this 4.5 inches. Remember, I went down 4.5 inches. I'll cut this one out and cut this out. So this is how it's gonna look. For cutting it out, we add 1/2 inch here, and this how it will be. Because we'll be joining this side together. I will spread the fabric into 2 and use it to cut out this upper part before we move on. So we add 1 inch here for sewing allowance and add 1/2 inch here for joining allowance. So I'll make a notch here. That's where the joining will stop. I will cut out this also. I will add 1/2 inch for sewing allowance at the lower part here. I'll still make a notch here. So we are done with the upper part. We'll be cutting out the middle part. We're cutting out the middle part. This is the back side and this is the front side. Remember the upper part, we added 1 inch for zipper allowance. I'll still add 1 inch zipper allowance for the middle part. The middle part is 12 inches. So I added 1 inch to it for sewing allowance. So that's 13 inches. This is 13 inches. I'll place a 1/4 of our waist measurement right on the waistline here. I'll mark 8 1/4 here. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. From waist to hip is 9.5 inches. I'll place our hip measurement here. 1/4 of our hip measurement is 11 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. I'll connect it from the waist to the hip. From the hip, I'll bring it down like so. I will go in by 1/2 inch here, but so that this will match with the upper part. I'll bring it down. I will go ahead and cut it out. We'll be marking out the Basque line. I will go down by 5 inches right from the waistline and come inside by 1 inch. This 1 inch is for sewing allowance. I will connect it right from this 1 inch like so. So I just make it a little bit curvy at the bottom here. It's not too V. Go ahead and cut it out. So I'll bring the front part out. So I will go down 1/2 inch right from the waist here, the waistline here. I'll go down by 1/2 inch. That's just to make it relax very well. So I'll connect it. I'll go ahead and cut this out. So we've cut out everything. Now go ahead and cut out the sleeves. It's not too fitted, it's not too bogus. I'll be adding elastic to the tip of the sleeve. The sleeve length is 25 inches plus sewing allowance and the elastic. Mark 25 inches here. The round sleeve is 8 inches. Because I folded the fabric into 2, divide it by 2, then mark 4 inches here. I will add about 3 inches extra to it because I'll be adding elastic to the tip. So here is 9 inches, 8 inches is the armhole. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance, that's 9 inches. I will come down 4 inches from the top here. Still mark 9 inches here. So I will connect it like so. And bring it down to this 7 inches. Now we go ahead and cut it out. I'm cutting out 2 of these. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. We'll be cutting out the guard as we move on. Alright, it's time for us to put the whole fabric together. So this is the half length. This is the front. So this is the notch I made earlier. I will match the notch together. I will make sure right side are facing each other. Use 1/2 inch, that's my sewing allowance, to stitch this side. I will stitch it up to this notch. Stitch this side also with 1/2 inch. After I've done that, I will use this bias tape to hem the keyhole side. I will hem it right from the right side and turn it to the left side. I've attached the keyhole. I use the bias tape to hem it and turn it to the left side and give it a good press. I also hem the neckline, both front and back. So what we are going to do is, I will join the half length and the middle part together. I will turn it like so, right side facing right side. I will use 1/2 inch to join them at the waistline. Same on this side. I will repeat the same thing for the front side. I'll use 1/2 inch to join them together. So guys, I'm done joining the upper part and the middle part together. This is the front and this is the back. So I'll go ahead and attach the zip to the back. So my zip is up to here. I will use 1 inch to stitch this part and attach my zip here. I will measure this lower part and use it to cut out the ruffles. I will measure here. I have 28 inches here. So to cut out the ruffles, I will multiply these 28 inches by 3. 28 times 3 is 414. I will cut out 114 for this side and cut out 114 for the back side. So this is 114 and the length is 10.5 inches. I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I'll use ½ inch to join it to the upper part and use 1 inch to hem the lower part. So I have 12 inches here. Before I will make the gather here, I will use 1 inch to hem the button. I will fold ½ inch twice and hem it all through. After I've done that, I will use my gather stitch to gather it up to 28 inches. I'll make sure I gather it to fit in this place. I finish attaching the zip to the back. Also gather the lower part. I use my gather stitch to gather it up to 28 inches. If you don't have a gather foot or a gather stitch, you just use the longest stitch in your machine to stitch it twice. You pull it and make the gather. So I've done a series of this video. It's quite easy. Go ahead and join the ruffles to the dress. I will turn it like so. Right side facing right side. I will use ½ inch to join them together. I will repeat the same thing for the back side. So guys, I'm done joining the ruffles to the dress. This is the back. This is the front. We'll go ahead and join them together. I will lay the front and the back against each other. You match the side seam together. Make sure the side seam align, the waistline. And I will use ½ inch to join the shoulders and use 1 inch to join the side. I will stitch it right from the armpit all the way to the bottom part. I'll do the same thing for the side. I will also join the sleeves together. I will use 1 inch to join the sleeves here. I'm done joining the front and the back together. So I will set this aside. I've also joined the sleeve. I will stitch it round because I'll be adding elastic to the tip. I will take 1/4 inch and take 1 inch like so. Stitch it round. So guys, I'm done stitching the elastic case. I left about 1 inch open here. This is where the elastic will pass through. So the round sleeve I'm working with is 8 inches. I will cut out 7 inches elastic. I subtract 1 inch from 8 inches. So I will add 7 inches. I'll use my safety pin to insert it. Make sure you secure this side. I will pass it through this side. I will knot the elastic. It's either you knot it or use a zigzag stitch to join them together. So I make it very loose, it's not tight. I will go ahead and attach the sleeve to the dress. I will turn the dress to the wrong side. I will stitch up this 1 inch I left unsewed. This is the right side of the sleeve. I'll tuck the sleeve inside. Right side facing right side. Match the side seam together and use ½ inch to join them together. I will stitch it around. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. Done attaching the sleeves to the dress. This is the finished look of the dress. We have come to the end of today's tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not done that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I will see you guys in my next one. Love you all. Bye.